Marian Edgar Boom is a spiritual leader for 86 Episcopalian congregation. She
Hmm.
is the first woman into her position. At a ceremony after the inauguration for Trump, she took that moment to try to shame Trump for some of his executive actions. I don't know what she this bishop is crazy. My name is Marcus Russell.
That's Alex W, man. My channel's gonna be in the description, guys. Make sure you check it out. We'll get right to the video.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
The presidential party and members of Congress and whatnot, the hoi polloi of Washington for the most part, went up to Washington's National Cathedral for a national prayer event. And there at the lectern was Bishop Marianne Edgar Boom, and she gave a sermon that, you know, it's described as a sermon, but really it was a lecture where she told the new president, go easy on migrants and refugees and members of the LGBTQ community. If you missed it, it's gotten a lot of support in some quarters and a lot of criticism. Here she is.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals,
They're not hearing this.
they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Oh my God! It's always good to learn. What was that, John, or was that Paul?
I don't know. She didn't go through scripture. Okay,
Right.
She gave a political speech.
Absolutely.
And as someone that comes from generations of preachers, I would have walked out. I commend the president for being graceful, but I'm J.D. Vance. I'm looking crazy. Like, what is she talking about doing a sermon? I don't think it was the appropriate time. If you had something to say to the president that may be a little political, if you wanted to talk about the president exercising mercy, then you could have asked for the president for a few minutes of his time and said, Mr. President, this is the issue that I feel. But don't get up there and try to preach a sermon that you cite no scripture for.
Well, she's not going to talk to him because during the George Floyd riots back in 2020, she said she'd given up trying to speak to Trump and said that he needed to be replaced. So, you know,
look at the children. There's
she
children
needs to
there
be
too that are
replaced.
hearing this message.
well, here's a
Facts. She clearly just used this platform as a moment to try to voice her, be somebody, get a name, voice her political opinion, and that wasn't the right for that
He
time for
wanted
that.
some Trump haters to come to that church.
She's a Trump hater, and it's disrespectful to the country. Like, he's been elected the president. I had a conversation with one of my subscribers, and they was talking about making threats to president. And he's a Trump supporter, but he was talking about making threats to Joe Biden, and he was like, that should be illegal because it's the president. Have some respect, which I respect his opinion. And this bishop that works for God,
One second. There was a Trump supporter that, a supporter that, a Biden hater.
Biden
that
hater
made
got
threats to him,
and he was
wiped off the face of the
unalived.
earth.
He was unalived,
Yeah.
and me and a couple of the subscribers, we had different views on it. But he was like, no matter what, you should respect the president. And
Yeah.
this is one of them scenarios where no matter what, especially this is the president's ceremony.
Exactly.
You know,
Inauguration.
right? This is after his inauguration. You're supposed to pray for the nation.
Yeah.
And you're trying to talk have some mercy, and the only thing, like JD Vance, looking like, man, this is foolishness. I can't believe we have to hear this stuff at this prayer. Like, she needs to apologize. Trump urged her to apologize, and she said on Rachel Maddow that she will not apologize.
It's coming up at the end of the video. We're gonna show you guys.
We'll show you that clip. Let's get back to it.
the thing. You know, the president's team should have known that she could have said things that were inappropriate or, you know, stuff that they didn't need to hear or was not appropriate.
Just Google her.
That's all they would have to do. But instead, they put him in that position where he's in the front row.
Why was she selected? Is
She's the bishop.
rector of the...
Of that
Right, she's the
bishop, of that particular national cathedral.
Of all of
Here she
Maryland.
is last night on CNN explaining what she wanted to do.
They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
That was the Episcopal
didn't play the
Bishop
whole
of Washington yesterday at the National Cathedral talking directly to the president, directly, eye to eye, about compassion, humility, kindness, honesty, honoring the inherent dignity of every person, talking to him about respect, about mercy. This is not his usual bailiwick. It is hers, though. Joining us now is the Right Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy. She's the Episcopal Bishop of Washington, D.C. Bishop Buddy, I really appreciate you making the time. I know you have a lot of options where to be, and I appreciate you being here.
It's great to be
Explain
here.
yourself, Bishop.
What made you decide to make that appeal the way you did, to ask him for mercy in that way?
Well, as you summarized so well, as I was thinking about at the end, toward the end of my preparation, the pillars of unity, it struck me that I was missing one, and that last one was mercy, to have mercy and compassion. And rather than state it in sweeping terms, I thought I would acknowledge to the president, acknowledge that he had come to the highest office of the land, that he had millions of people had entrusted him with this power. And I wanted to make, as you heard, a plea, a request that he broaden his characterization of the people that are frightened now and are at risk of losing everything. And I thought that that would be the more respectful way to say it, and also to appeal to not only the president.
Yo, respectful would be to wait till after the ceremony in his honor. Like, you don't try to bust him out on stage about your personal political opinions, Bishop.
It seems like everybody that gets in a conversation with Trump, all the common sense leaves, because like if you want to be respectful, you could have easily pulled his son. It was like, all right, you already pulled JD Vance. Hey, get Trump real quick. I just need to ask him something. Just please show mercy. Because I wouldn't go in there and claim to be a bishop, and now you're asking him to care about same-sex marriages and stuff. Like, that's just backwards.
Man, and the same-sex marriage is legal here. Thanks, Obama.
Hearing about the rainbow flag is just crazy. We have way bigger issues. We have California burning. We have homeless veterans while billions of dollars have been sent.
And we're about to do this illegal immigration thing.
Yeah.
And the thing about she said in her speech that these people aren't criminals. No, if you are here illegally, you're not a criminal. So you're safe. I mean, yes, is this going to look ugly? We've said this several times. Yes, this is going to look ugly, YouTube. We start locking people up just for sneaking into this country, and we understand why you want to come to America, because it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But also you have to understand how you broke the law when you got here that way.
Yeah.
Just like we understand why you want to come and try to have the amenities. Of course you want to. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that you weren't born here, but we were born here, and we don't want to share right now. Most of us, and that's why this rhetoric sounds distasteful. But we have to get ourselves together. America does, and the bishop should understand that, and also understand that there's a time for political talk, and then there's a time for prayer. That was a prayer time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But to all.
Really quick, guys, I'm close to being friendless to my take on this topic, just because I understand how the law works. The law is you come here legally, you can live here legally. You need a passport to go to a different country. They're not letting you over there just because you want a little vacation or you want a better life. We're the only country that literally allows the birthright citizenship, or you to come here and then get allowance. What country can you go to? Give me one that you can go to, and they will pay you allowance to live there because you're poor,
or under asylum, or a refugee.
We have sanctuary city.
A sanctuary country.
What is a sanctuary city?
Just like, okay, I'm gonna read this quote. She said that she just said the gay and lesbian, transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and Independent families fear for their lives.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do they fear for their lives? They're like, why are you coming at Trump? I don't understand the rhetoric behind this. You just
Yeah.
want it to, and they are the smallest minority in America.
Yeah.
Like, like there's a lot of different minorities in America,
But
and
they're the
that
smallest.
section is the smallest. They have so many laws passed in their favor in these last 10 years. Why are they so at the top of the list
Why
for
are they
these
the priority?
Democrats? You know what I'm saying? What about us? I'm a minority, and I
And what about the people that are losing stuff to countless illegals
systems,
savagely
right?
abusing their right to be here, or not right to be here? I can't even say that.
They're born right. They're birthright. We
Come
are
on,
birthrighted to be here. This makes no sense. You're a Trump hater, like Trump said.
let's keep
Who
going,
might be
guys.
Let's go.
listening to appeal to what we know to be true about our immigrant neighbors, who they are, the kind of people that we're blessed to be among, and to remember.
And we gotta end it there,
Yeah,
man,
man.
because
Shut
she's
up.
just foolish. You
This
know,
bishop is crazy.
what about the people that are losing their lives to hands to these
Oh
people?
man,
You know,
yo.
you could easily cut out a lot of this stuff just by allowing Trump to roam free and do what he needs to do to make this country safe again.
I think Trump
You know?
wrapped it up greatly. He criticized her remarks Wednesday night on Truth Social. He said, "This so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning is a radical left, hard-line Trump hater." He
Yeah.
said she brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in her tone and not compelling and not smart, Bishop. And that was not a smart move. You probably won't have no more ceremonies at your church no more
Yeah.
because Trump's about to be here for a while. You know,
You already know.
let us know what you think in the comments.
Be sure to check out my channel description. Hit the subscribe button. Out.
Peace.